Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to share a few words with you regarding yoga. Um, you know, we are made out of four aspects. We are physical, we are emotional, we're mental, and we are spiritual. Now, the whole thing about yoga is yoga means to unite, and to me, at least, means many things. But the physical part of it, the poses and all that, um, is generally created to bring balance to the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Some people leave the spiritual portion of it out. That's fine. You would still benefit greatly from yoga, and in many cases, you'll start seeing life a little differently when you feel differently about it. But let's get into it now. We already know that when we're hungry, which is a physical thing, when we're hungry, our emotions are affected, right? We're affected mentally and we're affected emotionally. Um, we start getting kind of cranky. We even have a word for it. It's called hangry. And then once we eat, our emotions are mellowed out. Now, this is just one example of how something physical can affect the other aspects of ourselves. The same thing is when we're working on the computer all day and we're going, we're putting so much mental activity, we feel physically tired as well. So there, the mental pours over into the physical. Sometimes when we're feeling sad, we feel sick to our stomach, or we get a headache, or so the emotional aspects have affects the other. Now, the whole key to this is to bring together these four aspects. Okay, so like when I'm doing yoga and I'm holding a pose, immediately my body can hold it for a couple of breaths, but eventually my brain will have a thought and it'll say, okay, come on, that's enough. That's about as much as I can take. And then emotionally you start feeling like you need to give up. You need to quit this pose. But the key is to continue in the pose, continue breathing through it, so that when you're in an uncomfortable situation, physically, you can work it out emotionally, and you can work it out mentally as well. Um, Thing is, I used to, when I used to do counseling, I used to tell people, imagine that you're sitting at a table, a round table, and now it's round because there's no one at the head of the table, so no one's more important than the other. Um, and imagine you are looking down at this table, okay, and you bring your physical self comes to the table. You have your mental self that comes to the table, your emotional self, and your spiritual self that comes to the table. And the key is for them to work out their differences. Okay, um, we have the mental part of you that says, you know what, I'm just tired all the time. I'm always thinking of the future or thinking of the past, and all these thoughts just make me so tired. And the body says, you know what. No, I'm sorry. The emotion says, you know what? Because you're always thinking of the past, I'm always feeling bad about myself. I'm always feeling horrible. I'm always feeling, exhausted emotionally. I always feel like I'm going to cry, etc., etc. Then the physical part of yourself says, you know what? Because you two idiots are always going at it, I have a hard time sleeping, or I have a hard time staying focused, and I can't do that. I'm gaining weight, or I'm losing weight, whatever it may be, or I'm seeking pleasures to numb the pain, etc. And then the spirit comes along and says, you know what? Because you guys are not in balance, I don't know my purpose here. I don't know my place. I can't find my place. And so the key is for all of them to come to some kind of agreement, to where the mind says, you know what, it's going to be my job not to dwell on the past, or not to think of the future too much. And the emotional side says, you know what, if you can do that, then fine. I will try my best not to be sad, and I'll do my best to look at things positively, so that I can feel better, feel and do better. The physical body says, you know what, if you guys can do that, then I can get some sleep. And if you can get some sleep, then I will make time to work out. I'll have the energy for it and to work out. And then the spiritual side says, you know what? I'm glad that all three of you worked out. As a result, I'm going to feel more connected to everything, and purpose is going to be there. There is no need to chase after a job or chase after anything. It's almost going to feel like I'm drawn to it. It's drawn to me. It's like I'm calling it, you know. Yoga doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to twist yourself into a pretzel or sit down or get on a mat. Yoga can also be just the practice of uniting. You can do that while you're sitting down. You can take a few breaths. You can practice it in many different ways. Yoga really means there's many ways of practicing yoga. Yoga just really means to unite. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. Remember to subscribe for more videos. If you're interested in talking, having a conversation, or have any questions, you can message me privately. For short clips like this, join me on Instagram at KarmaTV13. So hopefully you guys got something out of this and something positive, and you put it to practice. See ya.